Alright, I knew this would be a tough game for the Liberty without Stewie and after their last two losses, but they played better than I expected because they were consistently matching the Lynx's pace, so they were somewhat in the game the entire night. They kept catching the Lynx not setting their defense, so there were lanes to get downhill or closeouts to attack, especially for Cloud and Sab in the first half, because those two kept beating their defender off the dribble every time down, and even Harrison was doing some of the same. When Harrison wasn't just attacking her matchup, she was running the floor, catching drop-offs or rolling to the rim, and crashing the O-boards, so she was always finishing inside, and she was the X factor, because she was really the most consistent help Sab was getting throughout the night. Cloud struggled to finish the same lays in the second half, because Fee was more cognizant of her always pushing a rock, so Fee was able to help from the weak side to take away those quick transition buckets. But for some reason, the Lynx were still loose on Sab, and she just continued to get to her spots. I don't think the Lynx were as body to body as they should have been considering her rhythm, so she got to maintain it by continuing to find openings, or by continuing to eat that space against the drop in the SNRs and DHOs, and the Liberty probably could have had her on the rock even more, because they had her sharing a good amount of that responsibility with Johannes. At least when Johannes was on it, she was wetting tough trays off screens, and both of their shot making led to that quick 11-0 run in the last 3 minutes, but it was just a little too late, because they were going against the clock at that point. If the others were able to make some of their open looks from deep throughout, they could have potentially ran it back during that stretch, because I even thought Johannes was making the right passes off screens, but none of them were able to convert, so those basically amounted to nothing, and that contrast in shot making was a big difference on the night. From top to bottom, the Lynx got production from damn near every player, especially the others, because whenever McBride came off a screen, she couldn't miss, and whenever Carlton and Heidemann were open from deep, the two converted on their looks, so they had consistent shot making as a team. Some of those makes were even coming off O-boards, because the player shooting kept getting the rock back, either on a second jump, a fortunate bounce back, or a teammate crashing and getting it right back to him, so those compounded throughout the night. Those second chance points were a crucial part of them being able to maintain their control of the game, but if it weren't for Fee to end the second, they wouldn't have had it, because it was a one-possession game until she put together that quick 8-0 run herself, and a lot of her buckets came from her two-man game with Williams. Even though Williams obviously had a bad shooting night, at least she was always pushing pace for quick buckets, and was always making the right pass in the pocket for Fee, so she was still affecting the game with her dimes. But Fee was really having her way no matter what the coverage was, because even when the Liberty switched, she would just duck the small end to play bully ball, and this without mentioning her taking Jonquil off the dribble non-stop. From start to finish, she was dialed in, and she must have had this game marked on her calendar, because with this win, she showed why she's the clear MVP of the W, and why they've got a great chance of getting that redemption ring. Just watch the tape.